are live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Trep Show. Gary-Dobbs here, your host. Glad to be able to join us here today on Trep Show number 42. Here with Thaddeus Archibald. He's back here this week. What's going on, Thaddeus?
How's it going? Missed
Going
everybody
good.
last week.
Yep, and you're back in action.
Yep. Back on the grind. Back on the hustle. So how's it been going? How's it been going?
The hustle is real, right?
Yeah. That's the only way.
Well, it's been going good for me lately. I've had, I've been in talk with a couple of other entrepreneurs this week. Had some good conversations with them, so you're just making some good connections and partnerships.
That's what it's all about. Relationships and fostering those and growing with them and building them up. It's not easy.
For sure. And one of the good things too that I did when I reached out to a friend, Cedric, was, I was asking for his advice on something because there's something that he's really, really good at with what he does in his business. And I noticed whenever he posts on social media and stuff, it's just like, it's his signature. It's what people know him for, So I was calling to get him his advice and how he approaches his market and his business and how he deals with, helps customers in regards to relationships. Because you can see whenever this guy puts out material, like he does Facebook Live videos a lot, you can always tell that he's giving people advice on really just how to network with people. But to do it much more effectively, do it, like in a way that is not going to rub people the wrong way, because he's in network marketing. So he's one of the few exceptions to the rule that he's actually really likable, he does really well, and people like to work with him, which is not very common for people in network marketing, right? Mm-hmm. For me, the ones I've noticed, the only people that like network marketing are the people in network marketing.
That are actually making money.
Yeah. But this guy, man, he's not your regular one. He's in the top. He's within the 1% of the performers in that industry. But the people like that, they always do things differently. So they're just not. It's almost you just can't compare them to an average salesperson or an average marketer. So I've had those conversations recently this week. So I was able to get on the phone with him yesterday and another guy I know that's a copywriter. But what we should state what the show title's about. We were talking quite a bit about this earlier, right? Mm-hmm. And I think we came up with a good show title. For those of you listening, it's today's show. We're going to talk about how to get people to pay for free stuff. You remember I had to ask you a couple times to try to get kind of the concept down about what you're talking about, so I can think of some situations, some examples.
Yeah.
Right? But I think it's an interesting topic.
Yeah, and I just want to say that the music, we're doing something a little bit different. And the music in the background is from one of my good friends, 20 Concept. I think Gary-Dobbs, you have spoke to him before. I believe he spoke before. Yeah. And, he makes music and he dropped a instrumental tape. And we just want to give him a good shout out. And I do have it playing in the background, so if you hear real closely, you can hear that in the background. We're trying to do something new. We're talking about, what would it be like for the listener to have like that nice background beat or something like that to, get into the lulls of the moment and things like that. So enjoy this in the background if you like music or anything like that. So, and the link to the actual mixtape where you can get it. Or listen to it is also on the description as well. So just want to give him a shout out, you know what I'm saying? Because he gives us shout outs, he shares this out. he gives people this information. So,
Yeah,
good.
and thanks to 20 Concept for providing some beats for us for today.
Yeah.
So the topic, like how to get people to pay for free stuff. What is it that you've seen out there? What was it that came to mind for you that made you want to talk about this, or what have you noticed that's going on?
I just was looking at what I'm willing to pay for, ultimately.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, I'm willing to pay money for something, so obviously, I'm willing to use it. Because people say, well, Facebook and Instagram and all them other things are free, but are they free? Because don't you got to pay for the phone or the internet service provider to use the internet, to be on the internet? Now, let's see. The internet is a free enterprise. It's free. You know what I mean? But computers and the faculties of the application that you can use the internet on, they're not free. And people will spend money on it. People will put hundreds of thousands of dollars to get the best understanding of the internet. They'll pay consultants. They'll reach out to Gary Digital and try to figure out some market strategies or some CRM, consulting, the best practices for something like that. And I know we were just talking, and you had said something to me, and I was like, man, how do you sell without selling something? And I mean, a lot of the times it's, I want to say, environment. You build the environment. You create this level of whatever it is. I don't know, whatever it is the individual is trying to obtain or to reach. But you go from there, and I guess you set it up. You set yourself up. You set your plans up, and people will go to there. And the reason why I'm being very broad and general, because if somebody is listening, I want you to think about it. Okay, what do we mean by selling something without selling something? What does that actually mean? Because, in the description, if you read it, it says, free does have a cost. And I think the point that I'm really trying to get, and that we're going to go into a little bit more detail later on, but I just want to give you like the overarching point, is that people buy ads on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and YouTube, but those are free platforms. Problem is, yes, there is freedom. But if you want to get the most benefit from free, you want to pay for it. Because when you pay for it, guess what? Most people who pay for something that's for free, they end up turning a profit. If they know what they're doing. And that's basically like the overarching point that kind of led me to think of that kind of idea. You have any extra thoughts on that?
Yeah, I was thinking of like, situations where people in business, I've done this. I was talking to a friend yesterday that has done this. And there's an old saying that says, you got to have some skin in the game. So for a lot of people, like a lot of marketers in business, they're good at like offering free stuff, right? Because they want your email address. They want new people to contact so they can offer their products and services down the road. But sometimes some people in business, you want to get, like, you want to build a case study of people you've helped. You want to get some testimonials. So you'll reach out to people and you'll say, if you're just starting the business, I've tried this before. And it would be like, hey, I'll do this for you for free. I'll help you. I'll give this product, this program. But in return, I want you to give me a testimonial so I can use that for my business. And we say, okay, great. Yeah, we could do that. And this happened to me, and this happened to a friend of mine as well. He said the same thing. When he would do that, when he gave it for free to people, they just didn't take it seriously. It's like, I don't know if they were just taking it because it was free, or because obviously when you because I had a couple people that I was giving a program to, I wanted to start out with, and two of them, they both dropped. They said yes, they'll start it, but then they never even followed through with it because it was going to be a 4-week program, and they just dropped out. But when you flip it, you can go back to those same people, and when you convince them to buy it and pay for that same program, same exact thing, word for word, they're actually going to take it a lot more seriously, and they're actually going to use it and do something with it, because they're not into the business of wasting their own resources. But I think what a lot of people in business we've understood is customers have no problem, wasting your resources. So if you give away things for free, or if you do things for them, they have no problem just letting it go or not doing anything with it. If it's not something that was on top of their on the hot top priority list. So I was thinking of with that is that it's really just like about people trying to more deliver the value, give them something more that they're going to need, right? Because once you tap into like the pain points or the challenges that people have, that's where a lot of the you don't have to sell what you're selling, because you're just asking people questions about their situation or what it is that relates to your product or service, and you get them to share their pain points and their challenges. You're going to find out whether they really, really want to get rid of this problem they have and buy your solution, or wait it off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just one of those things where, what is the solution for whatever the problem is? And I think that is interesting, when you really focus on the cost of effort, because once you see that there's no effort on your behalf, you're just given something, then you're right. People don't really take it for granted. But I will have to say, there's people out there that if you give them the opportunity, because they have absolute nothing, they're going to really super shine. So I don't want to just say that in a way where it can be misconstrued as, if somebody gives you something for free, you didn't work for it, then you're not going to really appreciate it. Because I know if somebody gave me $100 million right now, I would not waste it on booze and attractive women. I wouldn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pretty sure there's people out there that would get that amount of money, and the first thing they would do is like, wow, I can afford to pay for all these women now. So.
Yeah. And I think, for somebody like that, for Treps out there, I mean, we're talking to an audience that they actually they have a huge mission, right, in life, right? Like they've got big plans for themselves. They got a legacy they want to leave. So they're passionate about it. That they're going to want to. They get the opportunity like that. That they're. You're just putting them in touch with the directions they want to be, right? Like most entrepreneurs, they want that life, right?
Yeah.
Get an opportunity to be involved with a business that earns you $100 million, man. That's a big payday people are looking for. But with that, what comes with it is not only does it change your life, but it gives you the ability to really make a huge impact on other people's lives.
Yeah.
So one thing I've learned with a lot of the Treps that I've gotten to know, and like you and other ones, is that they always have this big idea, something bigger than themselves that they want to be a part of and they want to lead, but there is a component to it that they want to be contributing to other people's life. Like they're doing it for a reason to improve the life of their customers or people involved with the organization.
Mm-hmm. That's the point.
But let's go. Let's step back onto the topic on how to get people to pay for free stuff. Do you have any other situations that you thought of when it came to that? Because there was a few others that I was thinking about.
Well, let's go over the ones you were talking about. You're thinking about.
Well, okay, so we had that one. We had the one where talking about doing testimonials and stuff for free, right? Another one is what I've learned in business where the value is see, like with my business, I could take the systems I built for people in the business, I could break it up into like, let's say 50 pieces. And then I can make each of those pieces like either a report or a guide or a worksheet of some sort. And I call them a lead magnet. And those things I can give away for free in exchange to get contact information for people. So I want to build my customer database. So I'm going to try to collect more contacts, names, leads, all the information about them that I need in exchange for something that will help them, right? So I can continue to do that and give and take everything that I do, break it up into 50 pieces and give each piece away. And I could, let's say build campaigns into where that person can actually go and they can take and they can collect all those different lead magnets that I have, like guides and reports and stuff, and actually have everything now that they need to go ahead and build the systems that I build. They could do it for free. But people aren't going to do that. I could make all that available. They're just not going to dedicate the time to put in to do all that work to build it. So what do they want? They're going to want the convenience. They're going to want it done for them right now. Like, not only do they have to spend the time to work, but do the work, but they also have to spend a lot of time figuring out and understanding how to do the work, right? That's going to take a lot of time. So a lot of people are going to end up just wanting to pay for it. So it's going to, for a business like mine, it's going to put me in contact with people that, yeah, they really value this and want it, but they just can't wait. They just can't do it on their own. They just want to go ahead and hire and pay me to do this for them because they see the benefit. They understand a little bit better about how this is going to really change their business and how they can get an ROI inside the business with it. Once people see that, once they see that what you're doing has a positive ROI on the business, and they want that. So if they want to make, like, let's say they're trying to reach a sales goal of $100,000, they've got to make some improvements or some investments somewhere, do something else in addition to be able to make that extra money, right? So with me, when I'm in touch with contacts and stuff, I'm always trying to look at the pains and the problems they have or the lifestyle benefits it's going to have, the ROI it's going to have on the business, because I know that it works. But yeah, that's something that I thought about with it. It's an interesting topic, though, how to get people to pay for free stuff. Another one is content strategy, right?
Yeah, that's probably the biggest one.
Is you can set up a blog and stay committed to putting out content. Like whatever it is, if it's once a day or once every other day or 2 times a week, whatever it is you choose, just be consistent with that. So that way people can start to count on it. Like they can go, oh, okay, I can, it's Thursday. I usually get like a new article from Gary-Dobbs. So I'm going to go check my email or check the website for a new article. So things like that could really help with your business and get you in contact with people. And you're giving it to them for free, right? People are getting it, but in the end, when you build up a consistency with people like that, eventually they're going to become, if they become a true fan, a real true loyal fan of yours, they're going to start buying stuff, right? They're going to even end up buying almost everything that you put out on the market. So I think content marketing is a really important thing to do. There are lots of blogs out there, and it's sort of like, it's not necessarily to do it to compete with other bloggers, but you're just doing it to provide information and content to people to learn about more about what you do, right? Some people like to read articles. Some people like to watch videos. So I would suggest for you out there with your content marketing, make sure you have the content available in multiple sources, right? Some people would prefer to read, so have something they can read. You can make a video, something that they can just watch and listen to, do that in addition. So make that content piece in multiple formats.
Yeah.
Because I know with you told me that you prefer video, right?
Yeah, man. I know. I mean, I just sent you a video that I did for a person that I'm working with, trying to build up their YouTube page. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like it's gonna do good. It's just gonna take some time and just linking things, So we'll see how it goes. But
Yeah.
I'm always trying to do something. I'm always trying to figure out what is out there and how to do it. And I feel like there's a lot of people out there are just doing the bare minimum and they're okay with that. Me, personally, I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with waking up and dying and then having no extravagant dash in the middle of the 2 dates. So I spend every waking moment moving towards a goal where my efforts will how should I say this? The amount of effort that I put in, I'm going to reap, 30 and 60 fold of what I do, because I'm that myopic. I'm that defined in what I'm going to be doing and how I'm going to get it done. Just like earlier before, a little off-air chat about an idea that I think that what we're doing works very well. I think people need to learn how to write down their thoughts and really look at these thoughts and start building on them. And sometimes, you're right, sometimes you need something physical that you can touch with your hands and you can feel that energy of that idea transferring onto something tangible that you can feel. I'm doing work down in the basement. I got a big, huge basement. Not trying to say I'm fancy or anything. I'm just saying I got a bigger basement than normal, in the normal size. And it's putting all the drywall up and then putting the little, whatever that stuff is, the putty, the caulk, and then smoothing it down, sanding it down, and then putting the other layer on there so they can blend in. So it can just look like one continuous smooth wall.
Mm-hmm.
And just doing everything, just focusing on a goal. And the fact that I'm using my hands, I'm my hair is all powdery. I look like, Tony Montana, working it for Tony Montana with all the stuff in my hair and on my face. But it's something that you can touch, something you can feel, and you can see the progression. That's why, me personally, I really encourage people to journal. I've been journaling since I was 13. And I can still read what I thought when I was 13. I got some before that, but I don't really have complete formed thoughts, before that. I wasn't really understanding it. I was always a writing kind of person. And that's where I like doing a talk show kind of stuff, because I like to talk. And this is the best place to talk. You know what I'm saying? Basically, he's talking for a job. But I just think that prestige and that sense of connecting your ideas to some tangible idea and not something in the digital world. Something about analog that is still valuable. I mean, that's the reason why I feel no matter what, a real human being is always going to be better than a computer. No matter how good you program it to do everything, the inconsistencies and the imperfections in a human being is what we need to understand about the marketplace. It is not a machine. It does not work every single time, always the same way. Someday, pink toenail chippings will be some really fancy thing that people will pay millions of dollars for. Some of the most ludicrous things become a thing. So, how do they become a thing? And that is like to the bigger question. And it's not that we want to give you the answer for how to sell free stuff or selling without selling. It's just that we want to expand your mind to understand, like, hey, that's a marketplace that you can work on. What is out there for free that you can pay for? And not that you pay for, that you can get somebody else to pay for. And some people might say, oh, that's like being slick and whatever. Well, if I know how to use Facebook better than you, right? And Facebook is free, but you want to know how to use Facebook so you can build your groups or build your page or do the ads. You're going to pay somebody to tell you how to use it better. Just simple. It's not that hard to understand. And I feel like that's where we need to be. People need to be willing to use that E word, effort. And sometimes effort is sweat on their back, being patient. And other times it's just hard, cold cash. Giving that up, working really hard, and investing in yourself instead of buying that extra potato bag chips or bag of potato chips or extra burrito, whatever it is that you could do without. You put it inside of that. And I feel like there's people out there who don't have the money. They don't have the money for anything. And they really just need one person to just give them a hand, whatever the term is. I don't know what the term is. But to help some, really give them a lift, basically. And those are kind of people that will really shine bright. That's it, in my opinion. Because I've seen some people in that situation, and they're shining bright. And I really believe, like, connecting the idea to that, to, X, Y, and Z is free. How do we benefit from that? Do you have any ideas, any takes to where you can, like, go into even more detail or just glean something else out of this that somebody could use and maybe can better help them understand?
Well, actually, I was looking more for you to expand on that.
Okay. I was just trying to see if you had anything to say. But all I'm really doing is just trying to get people to understand that it sounds weird. It really sounds weird. How to get people to pay for free stuff. And the best way to do that, in my opinion, is really get people to understand the value and see that if they pay for it, they can make a profit. That's the ultimate thing that I want people to understand. Because even on Spreaker, they got a free version of it. You get 15 minutes. So you can literally build a fan base with 15-minute shows. You got like 100 hours that you can use, and you can just rotate them in there and slowly build it up. But hey, if you pay for it, you get more time, and you don't have to break it up as much. You have to rotate it out so that your log of stuff that you have can show that, you've been on here for this many months or this many years, and you've been around for a long time. And another thing you can do, another tactic is, it automatically connects to YouTube, so you can do it on here and then put it on YouTube, and that's where you can like stockpile your list of things. But there's a whole bunch of different ways to do it. But if you paid for it, even though it's free, you get a benefit from it. You can do 24-hour show, or you could do a 3-hour or 5-hour show if you chose to do that. And I think that's the point that I'm really trying to make. Because we talked about this a long time ago, being resourceful. sometimes being resourceful doesn't necessarily mean spending your money. It means seeing what you have at your reach and can you use that to your advantage to where you can build off of that. And building off of something, it really takes planning. And that's the main reason why I was talking about the whole thing about, I think people should journal. I think people should write things down and be honest about what you write down. So that way, when you're looking back and you're trying to look at your progress and see where you were, you can definitely tell, oh, did I make it there? Am I at where I need to be at? And you can focus on that. And you can get to this point in life where you're like, wait a second, I need to step up my game because I've been talking about this, for 3 months and I haven't seen any progress. So what is it about what you're doing that is affecting your growth in that one specific area? And we're working on something. We're creating an idea, a concept of something that is going to make this physical transition that you do when you go from your thoughts to the the known realm, reality. And how can you take that energy that you transfer in the physical form and then start living by that? And I believe that everybody who is really a trep, an entrepreneur, male or female, young or old, if you have a goal, I highly recommend you write it down. I highly recommend that, because that's the kind of things that you have to do to take and understand these really. It's such a practical idea, because people don't do it. People do it not knowing already, because a lot of things in life, it is free. It is true. They are really free, but people pay for convenience. You know what I mean? Convenience is a commodity. And if you can learn how to take something that is for free and then do something to make a convenience out of this marketplace that you found, that you've researched, you've done your R&D, and then you start saying, hey, did you know that you can do this as well? And then people are going to be like, oh, you can? And then, whatever sales tactic or funnel that you use or however you do it, you can start making moves from there. But I think this is a pretty cool idea, man, because people do it all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so too. And it's like we're just trying to help give those listeners, right, some ideas, things to help them to expand or maybe solve that riddle inside their business that they've been trying to do. Because I think everybody's trying to work on growth, and they're always trying to figure out a way how to grow faster. And this just might be one of those ideas that helps trigger something for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think most people, it's like you got to look outside the box a little bit for things you've been doing. There's a saying, you ever heard the saying? It says, an idiot is a person that does the same thing over and over again and expects a different result. And I've found myself sometimes doing that, because what I learned about that statement was it's about what it says, but it's also about what it's not saying, right? Like it's not, if you keep doing something over and over again and you expect a different result, sometimes the person might be trying to just practice and get better at it, right? Maybe improve it a little bit. But I think it just goes to show that even if, like you're putting together a content marketing calendar, and you're going to create all this content, and let's say you're going to post a blog 3 times a week, you're going to post videos along with it, you'll even do something, maybe do a free guide to go with it as well. But if somebody just kept doing it over and over again and they weren't getting the results they wanted, it's not about getting better at it. It's about maybe doing something a little bit different, changing it a little bit so you can engage with it, because it's all about like engaging with the market and delivering it to them, to people that are actually going to not only eat up and like what you're providing, but also then want to pull out their wallet and pay for what you have to sell as well.
I feel like the thing that you want to really, if you're trying to do this strategy and sell free stuff, you got to show it like you're saving money by buying this for free. That this is free. It sounds so funny, it sounds so weird, but think about how many companies have took their work and their labor force out of the American marketplace and into the foreign marketplace because they're just willing to work for less. That's just a bottom line fact. Outsourcing.
Yeah.
People are willing to work for less. Now imagine if somebody is willing to work for less and they're good at it.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you need the workforce that you have that's charging more? You're not making when you can be making more money. That's the goal. To spend the least amount of money to make the most. And I'm telling you, there are things out there that are free, but they cost money. They cost money if you want to really use them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the point that I'm trying to get people to understand. Like, are you willing to understand spending your money and putting it in the right place? Because there's so many sites out there. I mean, you can have your own free website, but you're not going to have a domain. But you can have your own free website. It's going to be some weird, crazy, like 50-letter address hosted at some site that you're using. But you can do that, and hey, you can build a network of people, and they like you, and they just understand that you don't got any money. You could do that, But there's always going to be a time where you want that officialness, whatever it is.
Well, I'd heard of there was this artist, designer. What they did this experiment where in New York City they grabbed some different pieces of trash, and then what they did was a guy or girl, I'm not sure who it was. They made a package. What they did was they took trash that you just find on New York Street, and then they put it in a really cool packaging. Like one of them was like a see-through box, and it had like some fancy lettering and stuff all over it. So they packaged this trash really, really nice, and then what they did was then they sold it for $50. So they made this item available. They made it look like it was new. They made it look like it was something new that you could have, and they sold this stuff. People were buying it, right? And it goes to show that like the way you market and package something could really be the difference on what you're selling. For some people, as sad as it sounds, the quality of the product doesn't even matter. It's all about the message or how you connected with them about what you're selling. Make it valuable to them. But I've always found like marketing experiments like that pretty interesting. Have you heard of any other marketing experiments like that?
I haven't.
No, it's interesting because I think with the way people package something, okay, look at like Starbucks, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's something that they took something that everybody was used to getting. Everybody had the concept like coffee was just like when you went out to eat, it was something that you got, like when you went to the diner, and a lot of times, the coffee pot was sitting on the burner a lot, so the coffee might be burnt, overdone. So people didn't have like a high expectation for coffee. It was just a drink, something that they would get. And then Starbucks comes around, and what did they do? They take something that's like was sold for typically like $1, and they made it to sell it for $4. I mean, they did make the product a little bit better, right? They focused on quality of the product, but they also, I mean, you go in and look, they have the marketing down to a T. The whole experience of when you go into Starbucks, the way they present the coffee and everything that you can buy with it. I mean, that's marketing right there, down 101. Down to, you want to learn how to sell something. I think coffee wasn't necessarily free, but they sure did figure out how to get people to pay 4 times as much for something, because they could just walk down the street and get it somewhere else for $1, right? You could still, to this day, you can go somewhere like an AMPM gas station or somewhere else and get a big cup of coffee for, less than $2, closer to $1. But everybody do that? No. I mean, look at all those people that go into Starbucks. They don't. Could you imagine them going into a gas station to go buy their coffee? It's like they don't want to. It's like they would much rather go into a Starbucks because it's nicer. They like maybe they like the appeal of it. They like the environment better.
I heard maple pecan is like the new fall flavor, by the way. Just anybody out there pays attention to that kind of stuff. Maple's a new flavor.
Maple pecan, huh?
Yep. Maple is going to be taking over the pumpkin spice. You'll see. I was watching,
right?
I pay attention to these kind of things, man. I got a little, yes.
You like looking at trends and seeing what else comes out?
I have a Pinterest. I'm not going to say what my Pinterest name is, but my Pinterest, I'm pretty well, they don't know that it's me doing it. They probably think, I'm not going to say who they think it is, but they would not know that it is a male posting things like this. But I like the little do-it-yourselves and little recipes. And for some reason, a lot of people like what I post or what I repin. So I got a pretty big following. And it's so funny. Now that I'm talking about Pinterest and you were talking about Starbucks and I was talking about fall flavors and how pumpkin spice is about to be out of the picture now, and now the maple flavor is coming in.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I know that you can make money off of Pinterest, making posts on Pinterest. I know that you can. I don't know how to do it. But when I got a Pinterest, my only goal was just I like fashion, and I like good look and food, and I also like things that look very nice. You know what I'm saying? And that's all I post, things like that. And I just get so many, hundreds of notifications a day. And I'm not doing it for nothing but to make I think if somebody were to do this right here or use this, whatever it is, they would benefit from it. And all I do is just have helpful things and helpful ideas on the Pinterest board. So it's crazy. Some of my pins have been repinned over 1 million times.
Well, yeah, that's good.
And I don't even know how to use Pinterest. So I feel like there's a marketplace for everybody. I'm sorry, I went away from the mic. I had dropped my headphones. I wasn't wearing these, but these are headphones for my phone. They just fell on the ground off my desk. But basically, I'm just saying, there's so many things out there that are for free that can give you free exposure. And the question is, how do you market yourself? How are you the first in any kind of situation? Right now, we're really just trying to tell you something that nobody's letting people know. Hey, there's a way that you can make money off of something that's free. There's people out there who put in work on YouTube and podcasts, and they start getting money from advertisers because people start paying attention because they built a following, and that following has specific needs or could be specific targets for certain kinds of ideas or markets. And it's really just trying to build your base. And that's what we want to do here, and not necessarily try to like sell you things. I don't know what Gary-Dobbs is over there, but I am in this for making some money. My goal is to turn some kind of profit. Not for this right here, but just ancillary things, like things outside of the information. Like we like to, I'm gonna give you free, good, solid information that works. Stuff that anybody can use. You don't have to have no degree or anything like that. I use a double negative. You do not need a degree. And you just understand how to use it. Like right now, I'm consulting with some people in Baltimore. They're really interested in, I know I'm talking about myself right now, but I'm just giving people like, hey, we're Treps. I'm telling you what I'm doing. And I feel like I get excited when I see or I hear somebody tell me about the great things they've been doing. Like when you tell me about the good things you've been doing, man, I'm all googly eyed, man, because it's like, man, he's doing it. He's really making moves. It's always good to see somebody that's up there moving in a direction and getting there. And basically, I'm working with these people, and I see that they're paying too much on the front end. And this right here, I'm telling you right now, I'm not making any money off of this. Zilch. I'm just giving away free information. Now, am I giving it away for free? Am I doing that? Or am I planting a seed to let them know, like, hey, I can think in this capacity. Once you can take that nugget and make money off of it, come to me with money and see what I can do with your profits. See what I can do then. If I can just show you how to do this right here, what else do you think I know? And a lot of times, not that I go in there thinking that way, like, oh, I'm going to help you become rich. But if you listen, you'll start getting there. That's what we're trying to do as Trep, mentors or whatever. I consider Gary Digital over here a mentor. You know what I'm saying? To certain things that I don't have any experience with. And I would say I'm more like the digital nomad. I can do a lot of things on the computer, and I make a little bit of money here and there. But he's doing a good job of showing me how to focus a talent into one area and really leverage that in whatever system I'm using to benefit from the most. And hey, look, I got 10,000 views on my YouTube page. So something is working.
That's pretty good. That's really good.
So I talked about a lot of stuff in a little bit of time. But I feel like that's the kind of stuff that people need to hear. They just need to hear regular people talking about regular people problems. Because there's people out here right now who that's all they have. They can hear these little nuggets right here, and they don't have the fancy job. All they have is, heart and work ethic. And that can get you somewhere. But once you start seeing a little bit of excess, don't think I got more money. Think I need to put the money in the right place. And it's not, buying some video game or, going to the movies or doing things like that. Sometimes it's that sacrifice you have to make. Because, I don't know. There's this vision out there, man. And some people have it. Some people see it. Some people are there. Some people understand it. And then some people don't. And that is a real issue. The people who don't understand the vision. The people that get to the point in their life where they hold other people back. Because they're afraid of risk. They're afraid of opportunity. They're afraid of really trying to go for it. And and sometimes fail horribly to where you have nothing but the clothes on your back. And then it's a lonely place, especially if you were going there and the energy that was around you prevented you from succeeding. You know what I'm saying? Who's there for you? That's another thing I would like for us to discuss, like your camp, your people that are around you. Like, that's real important. You can't have negativity. You can't have people who don't believe in you. Or I understand if you're 32 years old, living with your parents, and you're not doing anything. You're just literally sitting in the basement and you have no direction. You're not doing anything. Your parents are just enabling you. They're not forcing you to do anything. I can understand. I don't know how my door does this sometimes, but my door opens up. You
got ghosts over there, huh?
Yeah,
well, you're on the East Coast. Yeah. You guys got ghosts over there, don't you? We don't have them on the West Coast, but I heard you got them on the East Coast.
Yeah. I don't believe in ghosts. But, like, I wouldn't get scared.
Like what you were talking about, like, I think, what can also help inspire trips too is, like, you don't know what you're doing, or you may be looking for a big idea. A lot of really great ideas and great business leaders that have offered something either in a different way or just offered something completely new, they got those ideas by going on a trip. Like, they were in another country. They were just on vacation, traveling some other part of the globe, right? And they see something. They see what people are doing in, like, that culture. Like when it was Howard Schultz, when he was working with a coffee company and traveled to Italy, he noticed how in Italy everybody just used the coffee shop as a social gathering place. He had never seen this anywhere in the United States before.
Yeah.
People didn't go to coffee shops for it like that. They just, like when he worked for Starbucks, originally Starbucks coffee was, they were just a wholesale bean seller. So you didn't go in and buy and drink the coffee there. You just went in and bought the beans and took them home and then made the coffee at home. And he changed that. Another interesting story is David Asprey. He's the founder of Bulletproof Coffee.
Mm-hmm.
His story was he was out traveling in Tibet. I think it was like Mount Kailash. I don't know if that's a Mount Kailash, how you pronounce it, but he stopped at a guest house, and they were serving tea with a butter in it. And he was like, "This is weird." It was a yak butter tea, and then but he drank it, and he said he felt like amazing, like when he drank this thing. So when he got back, that's how he got the idea to start Bulletproof Coffee. So I don't know. Have you heard of Bulletproof Coffee, where they put butter in the coffee?
No, I mean I heard of the term. I heard of the name, but I've never actually had any coffee.
Yeah, so it's what Bulletproof Coffee is. It's putting the butter inside, and they say it's also sort of a bulletproof diet. So they say that, like, by drinking this coffee, it's also it suppresses your appetite a little bit, so you don't overeat, and it also keeps you energized as well. So it's good for people that want to lose weight. Thinks of it as an option for people. But the interesting thing with what he did was, and I've heard of a lot of other business people. So Howard Schultz is, it's like sometimes to get the best idea is to just get out of your natural environment. Like you live in the same place, you work at the same place, so you're always in this environment all the time. Shake your environment up a little bit. Go on a trip. Go somewhere completely different where the way of life is completely different, and you might find something. You might come across something that just blows your mind, and you get so impressed by that you want to bring it to people here in the United States. Even those guys that make Vita Coco, They were Americans, but they were traveling. They were over in Brazil, and again, they just saw like how common like the drinking coconut juice was, but it wasn't really common here. But if you look at it, coconut juice it's really good for you. It's naturally hydrating. It's a really good source to hydrate your body. So if you're really, really dehydrated, even better than drinking water, it's good to drink coconut water. But so if you're a trap and you're just trying to look for new ideas, I would say go to other countries and look at what other people are doing in different parts of the world. If you think about it, it's a huge place, and we could bring that over to the United States. We're a huge market.
Yep. That's why so many people want to get over here. Because, Americans are consumers.
That's right. That's right. There's places, I think it's maybe change your environment up or think of ways you can get new ideas, So like going back to the show title, it's about just trying to search for new ideas. Like take something really challenging like that. Like an idea like you might think of, oh, that's kind of absurd. How do I get people to pay for free stuff? Like you might read it and think, well, that's kind of stupid. Why would I do that? But actually, it's in reverse of it. It actually could really challenge you in a really good way. Yeah. How can you get people to pay for free stuff?
Yeah, definitely can force you to use your mind and basically figure out something new and exciting to do with the same information and tools that somebody else has, So, yeah, I think that's really important. It's a really important thing. Really important to be able to think outside the box. Because too many people are inside the box. And that's the reason why people, get on these social media platforms and they complain about, well, nobody's paying attention to me and this right here. Well, sounds like somebody's doing everything that everybody else is doing and they have nothing to gain from it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, like, being different is...
I take advantage of it.
Yeah. So, but I don't know. What do you really say to that issue, man? What do you say to that problem?
About getting people to pay for free stuff?
Yeah.
I'd say it's a good challenge to go for. Challenge yourself, because that's what marketing and sales is all about. It's about persuasion. You're trying to persuade people that what you have is what they need. So I would say the more ridiculous the challenge, the better, because it's going to force you to be even more creative and try to come up with something that you wouldn't normally think about, right? Aren't always some of the best ideas some of the most untraditional, the wacky ideas? And they end up just working, and they work well.
Yeah. Being outside the box, Virgin Mobile, Google, Facebook, Apple, these guys spawned an ecosystem. You understand that? An ecosystem thinking way outside the box. So what are we trying to do here?
Well, we're working at being the single source of information for Treps around the world that are trying to grow the next billion-dollar company. Right? I want this to be a destination that people that want to create a big idea, they want to look for inspiration, they want to be around the right people that are going to help them to discover those ideas.
Yep. I'm going to tell you this, man. One day, using your voice is going to make you millions of dollars. I said it first.
Yeah, and how so? Like a rap artist?
Nope. Using your voice, man. You don't have to be a rapper. You can talk. You got
Be like a speaker, huh?
Yeah, man. I feel like we all got to work on our skills. I got to work on my delivery, man. I think that you have a good delivery, man. I think that given the platform with your experience, I think that you could feel, like when I'm in conference centers, man, and just really, you could talk about how a turd comes out a camel's butt. You could literally talk about that, and people will be so interested because you're saying it, and they'll be going around talking about that like it was something big. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe that was like an unflattering way, but I feel like when you can say something as simple as, "Hey, man, the importance of water." I mean, that was the one thing that really caught my attention, man. You were able to basically tell me that water is important. And maybe it was just because I was already in the mind of saying I need to drink more water, and you just happened to be there at the right time. And you could have recommended a kind of water to drink, and I would probably still be drinking only that kind of water right now. Because I would, in my mind, believe the results were from the knowledge or whatever it is where you were coming from. And I think that's a skill that not many people have. Because I'm telling you, I'm a hard sell. Especially on the internet. Very few people. I mean, it's hard to find me on the internet. Unless you know.
Oh, well, thanks, man. I feel privileged.
Yeah. You should be, man. Because I don't say that too much. There's only another person that I actually said that to. Like, I'll be like, you know what? You're really good at what you do. And I'm not saying that I'm a conceited person, but I truly believe in myself. And I pretty much think I can do everything. If I wanted to have a baby, I would have a baby. Myself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hey, man, I think that's a good thing. There's not enough people that love themselves.
Yeah, it's not enough people. I mean, I know it's physically impossible for me to have a child because I am a man, But I'm just saying, like, I think that way. I believe in the impossible for myself. So, I just think, yeah. I feel like this whole thing was a little bit all over the place. In the sense of it, not like it wasn't structured or organized, but we're really tackling that big, huge, broad stroke right now of this idea of using free. Because most of the time, like everybody, I mean, even though you have to pay for food and things like that, time is free. You're given free time. You're given a free 24 hours a day, 168 hours a week. That's given to you for free. You didn't pay for it. I mean, like, I'm not even going to go into the philosophy of my existence because that's for a different kind of podcast. But you got 168 hours. You just got it. And sometimes people are born in situations where they are not able to realize that. And sometimes people are born in better situations, but they choose to do foolish things and they end up putting themselves in a terrible place. So, what do you do with this time that you have that's freely given to you and you can use it or waste it? Don't be a time waster. At the end of the day, your time is free, but the benefit of your time cost you. And if you want to benefit from time, you're going to have to pay for a house. You're going to have to pay for a car. You're going to have to pay for a computer. You're going to have to pay for your internet. because that's how you're going to maximize your time. Now, if you want to live in the woods and chop trees and hunt and gather, be my guest. Because that takes time too. I mean, you got to know what you're doing. You got to use knowledge to survive and things like that. But I just think that this idea of free, I just want to shatter that idea and really get people to understand that at some level you're paying a cost. So there's a way that something that's already out there that you're an expert on using, why not turn that into a profit for yourself? Why not do that? Why not gain? Why not put yourself in that situation? You have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think so. I think people should, take yourself a little seriously.
Yeah.
And really think about how you can contribute. Take your skills. You got some unique skills. I feel like every person's got one job, and that's to know themselves, right? You got to know yourself better
to
than
know
anybody
thyself.
else.
Yep.
Know you. And you got to take those gifts, those skills that you have, and share it with people. Because don't ever think that there's too many experts. There is not too many experts. We could always use more experts. So you can actually be aware of what your gifts are and share them with people, because there are plenty of people out there that want to be led. They want to be shown how to do something. We're in a perfect time to do that. We got access to the internet. We got access to people all over the world using social media. I mean, these are platforms, 2 platforms that you can use that are free to get your message out there and to get out and to deliver whatever it is, whether you're weight loss, maybe you're investing, maybe you're in business, whatever it is, you can use these platforms.
Yeah. I don't know how to say it better than what you just said, man. But we definitely got to use what we got. What I have is my mind and my drive. And I think I'm a little bit creative, I think that you, just from my opinion, man, you're an organizer, man. You can organize things and make them work really well. You know what I'm saying? Like, basically, there's stairs.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to get down them fast. But you want to get down them safe. I feel like you're the person that can figure out, how do we do that? Here's the plan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe an elevator, maybe a slide, maybe an escalator. How to get things moving. And I think that's a really good skill, And I feel like right now we're trying to connect. And like, I'm a creative person and you're good at getting things going. How are we going to move? How are we going to do something, man? Because it's time to make moves, Different, some other things outside of the Trep show is really falling in place. And like I said, I got a handful of people that I'm willing to, like, if I were to get that opportunity to bring them along. So thank you for watching the Trep show. I mean, if you watch it on YouTube or if you just listen to it on the podcast, thank you for listening. And I'm Thaddeus Archibald, your co-host.
And this is Gary-Dobbs,
the host. Peace.
Thanks for listening.